What's good, everybody? Welcome to Bleav in Clippers. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle, and we're back with another great show. We have a very, very special guest, primary guest on this show, the beautiful Miss Mint J, straight out of Compton. How
Straight
you
up.
doing, Mrs. J?
What's up, BJ? How you feeling? Thank you for having me on as the primary guest. I love it. I'm super excited. How you feeling?
So, I'm feeling good. I think a
Good.
lot of people got a lot of feedback from last week's show. If y'all don't know, if y'all new to the show, Mrs. J is going to be here every single Monday. When this episode drops, it will be on Monday. Mondays with Mrs. J. Primary thing, Clipper, ambassador, very, very well knowledge of the team. She will be coming here every single Monday to talk LA Clipper basketball with you guys. So, got a lot of good feedback from last week's show. How'd you enjoy it?
I mean, it was dope. I mean, you are the best host that I've ever hosted with. And I think it's just a great podcast. It's going to go far, far, far. Are you crying? Where your tissue, baby? Where your tissue? Yeah. Keep it handy. Because you know. Come on,
Oh
man.
man,
That's
you
all you.
making me blush. You are making me blush. You are too kind. But
Well
obviously,
deserved.
I think it's more important for me to say this. I rarely talk to women when it comes to basketball because 95% of them just don't meet the criteria for me. But when it comes to you, obviously, you have your knowledge down to a T.
Yeah,
You hear me
I
snapping my
try.
fingers.
Yeah, they used to do that. Where they do that at?
They do that at like the opera.
Oh, okay. That's
But
cool. That's fly. Thank you,
um,
babe. I really appreciate that.
love. But we're gonna have a good time today. It's gonna be even a better show every single week. We're gonna have a better show. So obviously, hope you guys enjoy. Sit back and enjoy. Have a drink on me. Me and Mrs. Mint Jane about to get into it, man. More Clipper business. We're gonna be talking about Mr. James Harden, LA Compton
Uh-huh.
finest. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Uno
We're
in
gonna
the
talk about
building.
him and his. He's gonna talk about his impact and what he means to the Clippers, what he did last season, and how he's expected to play this upcoming season. So y'all stay tuned. Um, Man, let me start with you. What is your expectations from Harden? And what was you when you first came to the team? Did you have any type of, I don't know, like I don't want to say bad vibe, or did you? How do you feel about Harden in general?
Well, I knew Harden had a bad rap already. Like when he was with Houston, they said he was lazy, and I'm like, okay, he gonna come over here and do the same thing. But at the same time, I go for the underdog. So I was like, no, let me give him a chance. I don't know nothing about him like that, about his playing style. Let me give him an opportunity like we did Russ. And I'm like, okay, look at him. He's doing his thing. Had a rough start, but after he got acclimated, I think it was less than 10 games he was acclimating when he came with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he started doing well. And I'm like, okay, I see he's working with Zoo. And I feel like we have a good opportunity this season with him. So I was excited. I was excited. After I put my little bias to the side, I was like, okay, I think he might work out.
So you kind of saw just a little bit of what the masses were saying about the negative stuff when it came to him. Did
I
you ever?
did.
You did. What were some of the negative things you kind of bought into?
The lazy part because he was a little chubby. And I was like, well, if he's running up and down the court, he shouldn't be thick like that. So, he might be a little lazy. But other than like his stats and stuff, like I knew that was pretty solid. I was more concerned about his worth ethic. Like, what are you going to bring to the team? What type of energy are you going to be? A good role model? Are you going to be playing games? That was what I was more concerned about versus, his stat contribution.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know something, and that actually kind of lines up with what I thought because Harden, like last year with the Sixers before he came to the Clippers, he averaged 22 points and 11 assists. He led the whole league in assists.
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked at Harden like this: a guy who is naturally gifted when it comes to playing ball. He can roll out of bed and give you 20 and 10, or give you, I don't know, a bunch of assists, a bunch of points, a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of this, much of that. He just has a great feel of basketball. Not in the best shape as far as how his physique looks, but then I look at it like, okay, well, he plays a good number of games every year, so you got to be in a little bit of shape. Maybe it's just his body type. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I get what you mean with his belly be a little bit jelly, just a
Yeah,
little
he was
bit,
a little chunky. I'm like, what
little
you
chunky,
eating?
little chunky monkey. So I get
Chunky soup? Yeah.
that.
But the good thing about him, I think he's well aware of his weight, and he kind of controls the game by being slow, and he controls the pace. So he knows what he's doing. He's like, I ain't gotta lose no weight. I'm gonna just control the game. This is my system. My
You feel like that's what he meant when he said, "I'm a system." I am a system when he first came here.
I didn't know what to think. Honestly, I'm like, I don't even know what he's talking about. His system, like, it doesn't make any sense to basketball and what I saw initially. But then I realized that he was saying his system is the way he plays ball. Like, if you work under my rules and under my regulations, then we're gonna win. If you don't, you're gonna go against the system. So I
Mm,
realized that that's what he was talking about later. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, which is true. Like, you have to have some type of captain in order to or control in order to win games. It has to be some type of structure, and
mhm.
he's the one I would think to lead that. That's his sole responsibility.
Yeah, because when I heard him say, "I am a system," I'm like, "Oh man, the media gonna eat this up." Because you already come in here with the lack of awareness what happened with the Sixers. You already came through a bad situation from there, so they're
Mm-hmm.
just waiting for you to do something or say something even more. You heard what he said? He said he's a
Yeah,
system. He's
right.
like all my Laker friends, all my people who was against Harden said he's gonna ruin your team. And I'm like, I'm gonna give this dude a chance. But
Mhm.
I think the system just basically means that I think we talked a little bit about last week. I control the offense. I do what I do with the ball, like I've been doing since I went with Houston and Philly and Brooklyn. I'm gonna do
Mhm.
the same thing over here. And that's kind of a gift and a curse because when he able to run that system, he looks pretty damn good. You saw it with the Clippers last year with the 30s. What was it? They were 25-6 at one point,
Yeah, yeah,
and he was part of that. He was,
definitely.
running the offense. I saw James Harden playing defense at the same token. So it's just like his system makes him happy, but when it doesn't go how it's
Yeah,
supposed to go, he can't play any other way.
right,
So
right.
I think that's the biggest crux against him.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna have to step up this season and have a dual responsibility in playmaking and scoring, because we got to make those points up some type of way with PG being gone.
We gonna talk a little bit about PG too. As a matter of fact, you know what? Bump it. I'm gonna go ahead and let you give your true sentiments. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to explain to the audience
Yeah.
how what you were telling me earlier about how you feel about PG. We are talking about this last night, so I want you to kind of go a little bit deeper.
Well, you know what? I really want to let it go, and I know we talked about that. It's time to just let it go. But when you deal with relationships, and when you're in a relationship with somebody, this is a relationship. When players come to the team, you learn them, you cheer for them, you go through the ups and downs with them. You're really in a relationship. They don't know you're in a relationship, but I know I'm in a relationship. So you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, B?
Yeah,
So
right.
to lose that, it's like,
Mhm.
how am I able just to let that go like overnight? Like, I can't. It's hard. So I'm still in my feelings about it, and I feel like I'm gonna still be talking about it for a little while until I'm over it, until I have somebody else on the team that replaces those feelings. And the only way to get over somebody is to get with somebody else. And I think these new players have to make me feel what PG made me feel.
Do you feel like they'll be able to do it honestly? Just by your facial expression, do you feel like anybody
No,
on this you don't think
no,
so?
no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I
I
don't
just thought
be.
I would ask. Well,
I,
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, it's fine. I'm still in my feelings. And I know there's a lot of fans that are still in their feelings too. You may not want to say it, but you are, and it's okay. I'll go through it with you.
But on a different circumstance, let's look at the guys who could possibly replace PG and our new roster. What do you feel like the roster right here? What do you think you see when you look at what's on the screen? Obviously, we made about 5 different moves this offseason. So
Mm-hmm.
I want you to kind of talk about some of the players you're excited about.
I'm excited about Derek. I'm excited about him for sure. His athleticism. We talked about the youth on the team. That's good. Some young
Mhm.
players to complement these veterans. We have a lot of guards here. Hopefully, they can make some points and contribute.
Right.
Some players that'll definitely help Harden with his passing ability. He likes his alley oops and his cuts and stuff like that. So hopefully these players will fit right in, and they getting a lot of practice in right now for
Right.
that. It's going to take a lot to get all those players acclimated and be ready for the season.
Mm. So you said something about cutting and alley oops and things like that. Who are some of the guys you feel like is gonna fit around Harden perfectly besides D Jones and you know Kawhi, of course? Who you think is gonna fit around him?
That's going to fit around Harden.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe Terrence,
Mm-hmm.
um, Norman.
Norm.
hmm There's a lot of opportunity for him to really, work with Harden, be
Right.
his like right hand man.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a lot of different pieces here. I think you look at guys like Kai Jones, who obviously they picked up last year. You know what I'm saying, like on that weird contract right before the postseason started. They picked him up out of nowhere. So he's obviously a person that they've been looking at for the last couple of seasons. Another lob threat, just like, Derek Jones, just like Mo Bamba, all long athletic guys. Harden could just throw that little skip pass to that little alley oop pass.
hmm
That can definitely fit around him. Defensively, Chris Dunn, Nico Batum, he's coming back, obviously. You got Kevin Porter Jr. is another great, size guard. I just don't know what they're gonna be doing with KP, and you got Bones, and you got, you know, all these players need to, get minutes. So what do you
Yeah,
feel like they're gonna do with KP and Bones? Who's gonna get the minutes between those two?
I think this might be weird, but I think if we move Harden to that shooting guard position and
Mm,
have Bones play the guard,
mm,
and I think maybe he can get some minutes like that against certain teams where
got
we
you.
need to be where we need to really score offensively and we need like all hands on deck type thing.
Yeah,
You know, I think that might be a way for him to get some minutes.
right.
Yeah,
I'll be feeling for Bones sometimes. I'm like, this guy been he been trying to get so many, like, for the last couple of years.
yeah,
He went from Denver, he wasn't getting minutes with Jamal Murray, getting limited. Now he with the Clippers. He was gonna get minutes behind Russ, and here comes Harden. It's like, you know,
bad for him.
feel bad for Bones. But let's go a little bit deeper into Harden, man. Coming into last year, I want to pull something up for you to kind of see right here on the screen. I'm gonna kind of talk about it, before his statistics with the Clippers. Obviously, were pretty solid. Average 16.6 points per game, 8.5 assists, 5.1 rebounds in 72 games last year. So that
Mm-hmm.
means Harden was very, very durable. One thing
Mm-hmm.
about James Harden, you're gonna see he's not gonna want to miss a lot of basketball, which
Right.
can be a gift and a curse, because when you look at it, you looked at the beginning of the season, he looked very fresh, he looked very good. But then as time went on, he playing them heavy minutes when he's in control of the offense because of Ty Lue. He gets worn down and he looks a little bit slower, a little bit sluggish. He gets a little bit more disinterested, being a little lazy on defense, and that's going to backfire when you don't put your youth around him. So, with that being said, playing games ain't gonna be a problem for him. It's just gonna be what amount of load offensively are you gonna put on him, and also the help around him.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
going to be the big question. So, man, when you see him averaging these numbers, what do you think he's gonna have to be averaging this upcoming season? And what type of season do you think he's gonna have going into this next year? What impact do you feel like he's gonna have?
Well, I'll say that his season with the 76ers before he came to us, his averages were better. So I expect his averages to be either above what he did at when he was playing with the 76ers, but not what he did this season because he has the ability to play better ball. However, he did only play 72 games with us in 79 when he played the Sixers. So that may have helped out, but he still can, you know, do as well as he did with the Sixers with us. So I don't want to see him. I don't want to see his numbers decline. I want to see them go up.
Mm. Do you feel like they will go up?
I do. I feel like they'll go up in um, maybe in his points. Not maybe the assists may stay the same because I think he's going to have to do more scoring. I really think he's going to have to contribute to the team more on the offense with scoring.
In the season, and I don't think people realize in the season just what he does. Like Harden in the regular season is magical.
Mm-hmm.
In the regular season, he's magical. He turns teams around. He leads teams. He carries teams. If you have the right pieces around him to be successful, and it looks like by the roster they have with him with lob threats, defense, and outside shooting, it looks like they're building a team around him.
Yeah, around his
And
type of his
it,
system.
there you go. So it's a good possibility. They looked at this and said, okay, well, when Harden is comfortable, we can do something, and that's why I feel like they got those pieces to surround him. But it's not the season; it's been more so the postseason people complain about when it comes to Harden. What do you have to say about Harden's postseason shortcomings and his performance on a grand scale? Do you feel like his playoff failures a little bit maximized, or you feel like they're actually fair to criticize?
I don't even think they're fair to criticize because he wasn't even with us for a full season. And I know it's only maybe like 10 games he didn't play, but a full season is a full season. And I think he has to have the opportunity to gel with the team before you can start criticizing somebody about something. Like you can't just pop up on a team with talent and think that you're supposed to, be spectacular. You know what I mean? And I think we got to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, this season you got an opportunity to do it. Let's see the progression. If we don't see the progression, we don't get further than we did last season in the playoffs, then yeah, you can be criticized at this point.
Do you feel like now that he's gonna have a full training camp, gonna have a full season with the Clippers, do you think that he's going to rise? His game's going to rise in the postseason with a fully healthy Clipper team, or do you think that he's going to kind of be a little bit inconsistent at times? Because that's been the whole knock on Harden throughout his whole career. I think it's a little bit over the board because if you look at Harden's whole career in the playoffs, he's never missed the postseason, and he's only really lost to teams that are like historic, like the Warriors, like the
Mm-hmm.
Spurs. Those teams that are historic teams, the Miami Heat when he's with Philadelphia. He's not losing to no bums or no scrubs.
Right.
So now that you have a top player like Kawhi right beside you, does that, I guess, you somewhat calm the pressure off of him and probably rises his game where he's not no longer the number one person on the team?
Mm, right. I think that he just needs to continue. I mean, he needs to be energized continuously. He needs to be babied and energized continuously in order to perform to his max. He's getting a little older, so older people need a little bit more of a push. They need a little bit more motivation. Be like, come on, go, get up, go do it. You're doing good. Pat him on the back a little bit extra. So I think he just needs to have that continuous motivation so he doesn't give up in game. He be giving up.
Boy, he be giving up, boy. It's like, damn, he be rolling the ball up the court. I'm like, man, Harden, you can go, you can speed it up a little bit. Like you don't
Yeah,
gotta go that damn slow.
yeah.
But
When do you run?
when a Twinkie right in front of him, I don't know. I'm playing.
We just kidding.
We just kidding. But on a serious note, I can't with you. I can play too
It's cool. He ain't gonna say nothing. He ain't gonna trip.
much. on a on a serious note, though, Harden's impact this upcoming year. What are the pros and cons of having him on your team? We kind of laid a little bit out, but if you had to say, what are the pros of having James Harden on the team, and what are the cons?
The pros are his ability to play make, like, and he controls the game at his own pace. I think he's the captain of the team. The cons of that is that I don't want his arrogance to get in the way of the team. Like I don't want him to be in his feelings or feel like he's, that guy and he lose sight of what the goal is. That's the only con. Other than that, do your thing. You are a professional. You good at what you do, so continue to do that.
Mm.
But yeah,
But don't get aside yourself.
exactly. Don't get beside yourself. Stay humble, relax. We got 82 games to play plus the 16.
Mm.
We playing
It's
16 this year.
hey, so I think also too when you said something about playing in this new arena into it, right? Man, I would love to see Russ play with us, man, this year.
Yeah,
That home crowd is going to. I think Westbrook's one of them type of players. Like if we have our own arena and our own fan base, it would be even twice as loud with him in there. But
facts.
also, I know with Harden too. I know it's with him too. Even last year, he does get the crowd pumping a little bit too. What he's able to do, and another LA town hometown hero.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to pay dividends for him too to kind of like be more productive? Something about having your own home crowd beside
Yeah.
you. Probably a lot of Harden's family members and friends gonna be at the games. It's gonna be in Inglewood, so it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be in the city. So
Mm-hmm.
is that going to raise his level of play? Do you think?
I'm thinking about it. Does Harden have a lot of fans? Not like that. Not
Oh
like that.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
oh yeah.
I never really checked to see how many fans he has. But I don't know how much the crowd affects him, good or bad. I don't know, like, if that will affect him.
Mm,
But I think if we do give him a nice welcoming and everything, he'll
mm,
probably take ownership of that arena. Like, I gotta make some things happen here. This is home. I have to set the bar. So I hope he takes that type of ownership for the team.
yeah, I think, and it's like with him. That's why I think the young players got to play. Like Ty Lue has to play the young guys. Bones is a guy I think is going to get the crowd going. I
Mm-hmm.
think you already know Norm's going to be playing. You got to play. Kai Jones play. Uh, your loud threat, Derrick Jones Jr. is going to get the crowd going. Like you got so many good pieces on this team. Just hungry guys who are not big names, but they want to play. They want to hoop. So
Yeah.
those are the players that's going to get us more and more. Like remember the 2022 team that didn't have Kawhi the whole year, and then PG missed a lot of the year. Like we had Reggie, Mook, uh, Nico. You know what I'm saying? T Man, all the guys, Luke Kennard, not star players, but that team played hard.
They did.
They played
Reggie
hard as
played his
hell.
behind off, man.
Reggie, they played hard as hell. So, and I remember the crowd was more into those games. Like they were actually cheering, like
Yeah.
the comeback Clippers. That's why I called them.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back from huge leads. So if we can get a little bit of that magic back with the star power that we have, we might be able to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. You think they talking about us right now as contenders?
Oh hell no, man.
They took us out the
Man,
contention, huh?
they took us out. Man, they saying we playing right now.
Why?
they said Denver, uh, Minnesota, OKC. Those are the three top teams. They got teams like Memphis coming back, which I don't know what they talking about with them. But Memphis apparently they in the mix. You got Phoenix. You got
Oh my Phoenix, really?
they got Phoenix in the mix. We whooped on them last year. They got the Lakers
Oh my
somewhere
God.
in the mix. All these
Anybody
teams in
but
front of
us, huh?
us. All these teams in front of us because we lost PG and we lost Russ. So I don't think the West. I think the West is wide open. I don't
Yeah.
feel like there's no top team in the West. I
There's
mean,
no type team, no, at
there's no
all.
top team. But as far as the best player, if you talk about OKC and many, I think Kawhi is better than Anthony Edwards. I think he's better than SGA. Jokic is the only player I think when you look in the West where you can actually say, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
meet your match when you deal with
Right.
him.
But they couldn't even run it back.
Yeah,
The Spice
Denver went
Girls, they
down.
couldn't even run it back. So they not even a threat.
They
I don't
really they. I don't feel like I feel like Denver went down.
think. Mm-hmm.
I feel like they really did. I think people I think Denver's a one hit wonder.
Yeah, facts.
You think so too?
I think so too. Because they wasn't even close. Who put them out last season? Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Y'all just won a championship the previous season, and y'all okay.
Yeah,
All
Jamal
right.
Murray. I don't know if you all saw Jamal Murray in the Olympics. He did not look good. He did not look good at all. Team Canada took a loss like in the before the actual medal games.
So it really matters who you teaming up with. You could you got to have the right team around you, right? You got to have the right players.
Back.
Hmm. Hmm.
But before we get ready to end it, man, I want to give a little bit of a wide scale of James Harden's career. Um, where do you feel like James Harden ranks in history? What do you would you remember when James Harden does retire? Right now he's 34 going on 35. What do you think James Harden will be remembered as when he actually does decide to hang it up? And do you think that he's a little bit underappreciated?
I think he is a little underappreciated, and that's because of his personality. Like everybody doesn't get that. Um, what he will go down for when he retires is probably one of the best point guards out there.
Hmm. You see,
What you
I
think?
look at it. I look like he's a combo dude because he's not just one of the best point guards, but he's one of the best scorers that we've
Yeah,
seen.
he is. He is.
It's like this dude went from being able to run an offense, went from a guy who can give you 50, 60 points in Houston, number of years, 3 scoring titles, to now he's quote unquote a offensive orchestrator. We're talking about how great he is with the ball and assisting. I don't feel like there's not a lot of people who can do that. Like for you to be as great of a scorer as you are as a point guard, who could you say really can do that at an elite level on both?
Steph.
Shit, I don't think Steph can even orchestrate offense like Harden.
Mm,
I think Steph is good, as far as his impact off the ball and shooting
yeah,
and scoring. I know where he's
you're
at,
right.
but you trust him like running the point guard position?
Not in clutch, no. uh, no, he not that type of guy. Well, I don't see him as that type of guy. But I think I chose him as a point guard because I'm more of how he involves the rest of the team. I know you can do it
Right,
yourself. I know
right.
you can score. I know you can do this. But how are you involving the rest of the team?
Mm.
So that's the way I look at it as him in that position. Now he could be what a point scoring guard. They be putting
Yeah,
these positions as combo positions these days. So
right.
yeah. So yeah, he could be both. He could definitely be both. At one team he could be this, another team he could be that, depending on the type of players he got around him.
It depends on the type of players. There you go. You hit it on the money. So, what is James Harden average this year, and what do the Clippers Ross? What's their record this season right now?
Oh, I had their record down. I think I had it at 44, and oh my goodness, I literally just looked
38,
at that. Hold on, wait.
44 and 38.
I think that's what I had it at. What was the other question?
What's Harden gonna average this season?
Oh, I had it at 44 and 38. Yeah. That's based off of the last 3 seasons. I just averaged that. What do I think he's gonna do this year? Based off
Right.
of his last season before that, I Bleav he should at least his point he should average maybe 25, maybe 25, 8, and 6.
Whoo! Damn, 25, 8. I like those numbers. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I
That's just
like the
four
numbers.
more. That's one more three and a free throw. That's
25,
it.
8, and 6. That's all-star numbers, bro. You might be thinking Harden might be a top point guard next year.
I mean, in the 70s with the 76ers, he was 21, 10, and 6. I only added 4 more points to his average.
That's
I think
true.
he could do it. 25, 25, 8, and 6.
Let
What do
Harden
you think?
come in. Let Harden come in as the best point guard in the West.
Man, shut it down.
I'm doing a little.
Yeah. He a pot scraper.
Big facts. Big
man,
facts.
man, get it all out.
Hey, but y'all, man, we definitely appreciate you guys coming in, listening in. Again, you guys can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all big major platforms of the podcast, Bleav in Clippers. I will
Mhm.
put Mrs. Mint J's podcast in the description box, Black and Love Podcast. Why don't you tell a little bit about your podcast, remember, before we get up out of here?
Well, yes, my podcast is my third season on Spotify. It is Black Love and Basketball. If you guys have heard the movie and seen the movie Love and Basketball, I kind of added the flavor of Black into it. And I think I'm Black Love. That's my name too. Infused with basketball. So I give the passionate version of basketball. I kind of leave a lot of the analytics out and stats out. It's more of the passion behind the team and my hatred for the Lakers.
We gonna have to if you have to continue that conversation
For real, for
for
real.
another podcast for sure, because I want to hear all about that.
Thank you for having me, B. Wonderful show as always.
Always good having you, Mrs. J. Again, Mondays with Mrs. J. You guys pull up. This is one of the best podcasts out there. And we'll be back on next podcast. We're going to have another good guest for y'all. So make sure y'all tune in. All right. Peace.